gets a little monotonous, right? Life can get a little monotonous. So much so that some people, including a former reporter for Bloomberg, would be willing to destroy her marriage and her career to fall in love with someone that she's writing about, Martin Shkreli in this point. So Elle magazine had a feature on a former Bloomberg reporter named Christie Smythe, who started off by reporting on Martin Shkreli and the case that he was being investigated in. That was a case where he committed securities fraud, lied to his investors, and had done some risky bets, while of course telling them that he was actually earning them money when that wasn't the reality. So it's this big case. And of course, Martin Shkreli is also known as the Pharma Bro, who increased the price of life-saving drugs, in some cases to the tune of like 5,000%. He's not a good person. Like we know about this guy, not good news. But yeah, as this Christie Smythe is reporting on him, she like starts to fall in love. And it blows my mind. It blows my mind. And I'm trying to, of course, I'm not a healthcare professional. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm only doing pop psychology here. So take what I say with a grain of salt. I'll give you the details and then we should discuss on what happened here. But as Christie Smythe tells Elle, I really felt like he didn't have anybody to talk to that he could bounce ideas off of. I was like, all right, I guess I can do that. He sounded ragged and fragile, and I got concerned he would commit suicide because all this stuff was all happening at once. And so at the same time, she was taking a class where she ended up writing about how manipulative Martin Shkreli was, describing how manipulative he was to reporters. And then her professor at the time, Michael Shapiro, started realizing like, she wrote quite candidly about how he had so successfully drawn her in, so like Shkreli is already pretty intoxicating to her. And then finally, like she realizes, oh no, I'm in deep. These are incremental decisions where you're like slowly boiling yourself to death in the bathtub. But she admits that even though her newfound love and fascination for Martin Shkreli has destroyed her marriage and her career, like Bloomberg eventually ended up letting her go, she feels excited. She's happy again for the first time in a long time. And I don't know what to make of it. In the visitor's room, this is like when he's held in custody. I told Martin I loved him, Smythe says. I told him, and he told me he loved me too. She asked if she could kiss him, and he said yes. The room smelled of chicken wings, she remembers. She also told Elle magazine, I know, like chicken wings do smell good. I will say that. I do love the smell of chicken wings. It's hard to think of a time when I felt happier. This is the quote I was talking about. At first, he's like, can I call you my girlfriend? This led very naturally into thinking about a future together. So then they later ended up talking about getting married, signing prenups, having children. And so Shkreli is serving a prison sentence and basically urged her to freeze her eggs for when he gets out. And she did it.
Yeah.
She did it.
Well, Anna, she's still pining for him. And that was the amazing part of the end of the article. But wait, it gets more amazing. Because this particular article was coming out, apparently Shkreli broke it off with her and won't call her or write her. And she's like devastated by it. But she thinks, no, he's just laying low, but he'll come back to me. Oof. And so, what do I make of it? I came to the same conclusion you did, that people sometimes are desperate for drama. That life is just too damn boring. And so, and then there was a little bit of power in there, right? Shkreli is rich and then became famous. And here's a rich and famous person showering her with a lot of attention. And then he complimented her in public. And then she started speaking after he left the room, and they're all crowding around her. And all of a sudden her life was like really exciting. And so that's my best guess as to what happened here.
No, 100%. No, it really did make me reflect on everyone falls into a routine, right? It doesn't matter how good your life is, like you will, especially during COVID, by the way, which doesn't really apply to this story, but everything just kind of starts blending together, right? I wake up every morning, everything's the same. Like I make myself coffee, I read the news, we have our production meeting, and then like we do the show. And then after the show, I walk my dog. And as I'm walking my dog, sometimes my husband gets home and he'll see us and he'll join us for the walk. And then we come home and we make dinner. Like everything is the same every day. And like, I love it, but I will admit that like and this is like such a juvenile thing to say, but I think it's true, right? Like I think you eventually become an adult and the idea of excitement and butterflies is just like, it's high school stuff. Like real life, you don't have butterflies constantly every day. And so if she was like in a super monotonous, routine and she was like super bored and she wasn't being complimented by her husband and she was feeling kind of like bored with her life. Yeah, like this bad boy who everyone hates seems super exciting. And you're like being extra naughty and like falling in love with this terrible person who everyone despises. And so, yeah, like she had a good career. She had it all going on. And she's just like, I don't know, I'm excited and happy with life now. So I guess it's okay. I'm not judging her, but like, it's just crazy. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, the thing is like, yeah, I'm not judging her either. I think life is hard and people do curious things, but we all do curious things. And so I felt great sympathy for her throughout. That was an interesting emotional reaction I had. You would have thought like, you'd think like, haha, or that's weird, or that's wrong. But I felt mainly sympathy. And he also kind of like lured her in these ways, in like, oh, freeze your eggs, etc. And now I got to tell you the funniest thing. I'm kind of curious how the story ends. So yeah, I think mainly my best guess is Shkreli is a bad guy. And he was just playing with her just because he needed fun or emotional support, or because he's in jail. That's like he's got nothing else to do, right? And likely he'll continue to not be with her because that's where they are now, right? And he was probably using her for his own purposes to get positive press. But if it turns out Shkreli was actually genuine, which now doesn't seem possible, but we don't know. Humanity's complicated, and they actually stay together. Then you know what I say? I don't know how you feel about it, and I go, maybe not guilty.
Yeah, I mean, this is how I feel. Ultimately, I don't care, right? Like their romance has no impact on my life whatsoever. It would be heartbreaking if he ends up really screwing her over, of course. But that's her decision to make. She's an adult and she's like made these decisions. She admits it in this interview with Elle. But it did make me think about like, what are healthy ways for people to maybe get out of a monotonous routine and spice up their life in a way that doesn't actually like destroy their lives, right? In a way that doesn't like destroy a career that they've worked on forever, or a relationship that's actually a really healthy relationship, but it's a relationship that like any other loses the butterflies, right? Like, how do you do it? And like, I don't know. I don't think there really is a way. Like, I think you have to find hobbies and interests and try to kind of like appease any curiosity you might have about something that's different, that's not currently in your life, right?
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.